Most of my life has been spent in show business, either as an actor or as a producer. However, as a producer, I've spent my entire career right here at Paramount. I don't know, I think we've made more movie magic here in the past 10 years than I ever thought could be done.
Now, that brings me to Marathon Man, and why I wanted to make Marathon Man. When Sidney Beckerman, my co-producer, presented me the book, I read it and thought it was a marvelous book, a very exciting story. That wasn't enough, however. I wanted more.
I wanted to make a great action suspense story and marry it to the artistry of unique talents. When we got John Schlesinger, whom I think is amongst the great directors in the world today, Laurence Olivier, one of the most accomplished international actors ever to appear on stage and screen, dynamic, young, and incredibly versatile Dustin Hoffman, Roy Scheider, the think man's superstar and action film veteran, Bill Devane from off-Broadway and on Broadway, and the beautiful European newcomer, Mort Keller.
Where are we going? Where's private?
When we got this incredible international cast with all its obvious difference in acting styles and melded their considerable talents to this unique audience material of Marathon Man, well, I think this is a prime example of the way highly styled entertainment should be. And I think the film industry is the one place where it's done so well.
I would like to have them take 2 steps back.
Huh? 2 steps back
and come into that, you know what I mean? So that,
we should start further back.
Well, at least that's what John Schlesinger and Sidney Beckerman and myself are trying to do. And I think we have a good shot at succeeding.
Starting places, please.
What interested me about making a thriller, I loved them. I'd never made one, so I wanted to try my hand at it. And I wanted to see, as well as doing something that was truly suspenseful, whether I could get my own kind of interest, which is largely concerned with character and with detail, into a film of this nature. I mean, obviously, a thriller is first and foremost perhaps concerned with plot, which was one of the problems that I found perhaps in making it something that was personal to me. It's a film that's largely about fear, and it's about pain, and the infliction of pain because of fear.
When Sidney Beckerman, my co-producer, and Bill Goldman, who's the author of Marathon Man, and myself sat down, we said, who would we like most to be in the picture if we had our first choices, which, may I tell you, you very rarely get. We said we'd like John Schlesinger to direct it, we'd like Dustin Hoffman to play the Marathon Man, and we'd like Laurence Olivier to play Zell. And we all laughed and said, well, it's pipe dreams, it'll never happen. It happened. And you know, it's the first time in the last 10 years that I can remember that the first choice for each major part we got on our first reading. And it must have been the property.
Come on.
We wanted them, we got them, and the result, I think, is going to be sort of exciting to watch.
Okay. Take your time.
The set you see them on is a Hollywood recreation of the New York City waterworks. It occupied 2 entire sound stages in the Paramount lot. It's a towering edifice of steel, meshing, anchored in the foundation of water, and took more than 6 months to construct. I don't want to tell you what it cost, because it was too expensive. It was affectionately known among the crew as the waterworks. It is here that Hoffman and Olivier play out their final scene.
That is, of course, the ultimate theft.
That's close enough.
Well, and then...
That's close enough.
Laurence Olivier is an actor who relies completely on text, on the written word as it appears in the script. And it was fascinating to watch his formal interpretation of the role.
one becomes hysterical.
Might be more conversation, no?
I don't think. I hear that for the putting down.
Somehow I don't hear it coming off of what we're talking about, just the words, then there was the sense.
You understand? I've got to bring it back to that.
Oh.
So I force it back to that.
I see.
And the easier way to force it is to find an excuse for what you just accused me of, which makes you say Jesus Christ.
Right.
So I say, well, one was in a state of hysteria. And then I open it, thinking I'm now going to dazzle you beyond asking any questions. But you're not to be that kidded, so I say, well, aren't you going to take a closer look than that?
Dustin Hoffman, however, is from an entirely different school of acting. He's more of an organic actor, and he depends upon the art of improvisation as a means to arrive at his end.
I mean, what I feel emotionally is... I didn't know till now.
That's it.
So you said it? I shouldn't say till you said it.
No.
Believe it, you mean it's too many lines?
Yeah.
I didn't know till now.
Yeah.
I feel like saying I didn't know till now.
Yeah.
Although English is not Mart Keller's native language, she learned quickly and picked up on the improvisation from Dustin.
Explain to me, my brother!
We had some hard times up at Pound Ridge where we're shooting a sequence where we had some rain and it's the climax of the film and it's a somewhat emotional scene. And we were improvising a lot of it and she just had difficulty. So it's the old story that you have as an actor that you try to learn from is that you have to work the reality. If you're having trouble shooting, you try to, whatever that trouble is, try to find a way of admitting that into the scene. The fact that she can't think in English, find a way to let that be the character having trouble, suddenly being able to think in English. And simply we tried to do that in that scene.
Let me explain.
No.
Let me explain what's really... I didn't know what
Just tell me when...
Let me explain.
No!
We did get to the point where we were really, tigers at the gate.
Let me explain.
Explain.
Please.
Tell me when they're coming.
I didn't know what's really happening.
When do you think they're coming?
And it is, I mean, I hate to be repetitive in that way, but we didn't speak to each other from about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on, the first day and for the next 3 days. I mean, if we ever hated each other, it was then. And then we saw it on film, and it works, and it pays off, and so we're friends again.
It's good.
Laurence Olivier for his generation and Dustin Hoffman for his, I suppose, individually are considered the finest actors of their age group.
Is it safe? You talking to me? Is it safe?
It's what safe?
Is it safe?
Lord Olivier said that he was having breakfast with his secretary and at his home in Beverly Hills just prior to coming to shoot that sequence. And he's looking out at the garden, he's seeing this gardener cutting the roses, and he's watching him. And the man is cutting these roses with such delicacy, as he related it to me, with such care, with such love, so carefully. And it suddenly occurred to him, he says, that's the way I should play that scene. He said, I, as this Nazi who knew about being a dentist, who was going to get answers out of me, should approach the scene with that tool that I use, with that kind of delicacy, with that kind of love.
Relax. Come on, open. Okay.
That's a brilliant choice for an actor, because that's the correct way of working. So you do not condescend to a character. You don't think of the character as a villain. You don't think of him torturing, because he doesn't think of himself that way.
No, I should think it would. Get better care of your teeth. You have quite a cavity here.
To put them in a picture together, well, it does cause sparks. And when they ignite...
Is it safe?
They ignite. Audiences around the world became aware of Roy Scheider when he was starred in Jaws. I think Marathon Man will make him a big star. I think he's going to be the Bogart of the 70s. He's uniquely built. He has a marvelous, rugged face. When we were in Paris shooting the scene with an assassin, he went through the fight scenes without a double. Did everything himself. Hurt himself pretty badly, but wanted to do it himself.
You think when you leave the bank, someone's going to rob you?
Who would do such a thing?
Obviously, you think I would.
Well, I trust you.
You never could. You only had to.
We're talking of my safety.
May I be candid?
Yes.
I couldn't give up.
I think Bill Devane most probably has as much potential of becoming a star as any young actor in the business. And Bill has a certain quality in his voice that you just listen to and you know who it is.
Incredible head of white hair. He's probably the wealthiest and most wanted Nazi left alive. And he's hiding out somewhere in Uruguay.
There's always a cry, there are no parts for women. Not true. Mart Keller, I saw, as did John Schlesinger, in a film called And Now My Love. We thought she was extraordinary. We brought her over here to test with Dustin for Marathon Man. She learned to speak English phonetically for the test, but her presence on the screen, from the first moment we knew she was it.
Oh, you know, when I get the script, when I read the book, it was a kind of Matahari. So I think it's more interesting to have really relationship between persons. And I think Dustin Hoffman is too intelligent to have only a beautiful lady. She must have something else, not only beautiful. You know what I mean? And we changed it. We write other scenes and we changed. We get another relationship. And now I like it. I like it really, this part. Good night.
It's too bad. I could make you so happy. Come on, why don't you say you'll see me? Huh?
All right. I'll see you again. But it won't come to anything.
You can't tell.
Yes, I can.
Dustin, while making the Marathon Man, lost 15 pounds. He worked out every day. He jumped rope for an hour a day. He ran 2 miles and then up to 3 miles and 4 miles a day just to get in shape for playing the part. He would never come into a scene and fake the breathing. He would run just for a take. He would run for a half a mile, so when he came into the scene, he would actually be out of breath. I said, Dustin, why do you do this? I mean, can't you just run in and do it? He says, no, Bob, you don't understand. To really be out of breath and to sound out of breath has to be real. You can't fake it. And that's how Dustin, on every nuance of this picture, played his role. This scene was the most difficult scene in the film. Just the logistics of shooting on a bridge at night in New York with the traffic and to get the reality that John Schlesinger wanted to get. It took 9 nights to shoot. I think it's the most unique chase ever on screen.
Run him down! Run him down!
Dustin Hoffman is, as I said before, an organic actor to the point of, well, possibly to the point of ill health and his own detriment. During a particular scene in the film, he insisted upon, when the heavies wanted to try to drown him, to stay underwater as long as possible to make it real. And we had several takes of it, and he insisted about keeping him down longer and longer in the water. By the end of the day, we had to give him oxygen.
I said, don't press on my Adam's apple, but try to really hold me under. Let me see how long I can stay under. Let me see if I can really fight you. Let me see what happens.
The magic of Hollywood can create or recreate almost anything. But sometimes there's nothing like the real thing. As a matter of fact, when I discussed before our 5 international stars, I neglected one. There's a 6th, and that's the city of New York. Some of the most dramatic sequences in the film were shot right in the big city itself. As a matter of fact, I would say a major sequence in the film where Laurence Olivier was on 47th Street in the Diamond District. And although we were on location, the magic of Hollywood is with us in the form of enthusiasm. A thrilling sensation of great expectations that can only be found in this truly international city. Nowhere is where the onlookers more cooperative and eager to participate in crowd scenes. As a filmmaker, I think New York is just incredible.
Watch out!
I like New York. I live in New York. I like to work in New York. I don't find New York people cold. I don't find them tough. I don't even find them hostile. I find them real. I've worked in other towns where you get a smile and you turn your back and you hear something else. New York is a place where you get it in front. It's an aggressive behavior, but you know what you're dealing with up front. And there was some marvelous strategic choices done by the assistant directors, as I remember, though I wasn't in the sequence. I came down to watch it. I wanted to watch 2 cars hitting a gasoline truck blow up. I wanted to watch that shot, though I wasn't involved in it. It was done, I think, on 86th Street.
Well, on this picture, Marathon Man, I'm the stunt coordinator. We have a scene which we'll be setting up that involves 2 cars. And to do these type of things, it's a combination of everybody has to work together very tightly. It's very important for timing. It's something you just don't go out and do in 10 or 15 minutes and say, okay, let's shoot it. But it's very important that everybody is on key and at the right spot at the right time. If something does go wrong, say we do have an accident, we're using raw gasoline, we are using live explosion, so you have the danger of fire is number 1. The men will be in fire suits for protection, but the heat is so intense that you usually get a pretty good burn. We don't go in with these things saying, well, we know we're going to get burnt, we're going to do this. We always try to calculate them so you can walk away and not come out with any kind of a scratch. I was told when I was very young in this business, if you can't do the stunt the second time, don't ever try it the first time.
Am I ready to go now? Ready?
I'm very clear, please.
The staging of this dangerous and precisely timed special effects sequence is a tribute to the stuntmen and the technical crew that needs little explanation.
Okay, Jerry, this is it.
I'll show you. Come on, get out of here.
been assembled, and, well, most of the picture had already been shot. It was Sir Lawrence's last day, and I think we just wanted to give him a bit of a surprise.
Thank you. Bart, B-A-R-T.
You got it.
Thank you. Did you hear that?
And I'd love to go to the key.
Sorry, I didn't call you.
Thank you.
Bless you. Thank you very much.
If we may, please. It's sort of strange, you know. I never had met you before, and I, you know, knowing of your background, that you'd be stuffy, that you'd be difficult to talk with, that you'd be indifferent. You're just one hell of a guy. Now, I have done something here this morning with Sydney that we made up. We just got it. I'm glad you shot late for a change, John. This just came in 20 minutes ago. And wait a second. If I may. Yeah. There you are. If I may, I would like to read it, because I think it's unfair to you to read it, because you would read it better than me. A lord in England, but to all of us in Marathon Man, a king. Yeah, Bob, Sydney, John, Dustin, Martha, what? Uncle Bill. I'm terribly touched by this beautiful thing. It's very sweet. Thank you. I've had the most marvelous time in this ancient burg that I've ever known here. And I've been here on and off for 45 years. And I've never known anything so beautiful as the way in which I have been welcomed by all my old friends, and there are many, many, many of them. I'm very, very rich in friends, here particularly. And now I've made a whole host more friends, all of you. And I can't tell you how happy you've made me and how happy you're making me now. My voice is a little shaky, but je suis un peu amused, but I'll explain that to Dustin. The Marathon Man would like to say a few words.
To make a toast, I would like to toast to my Lord on behalf of John and myself. In working these weeks, it occurred to me, as I think it occurred to John, that we were not, at least to me, it occurred to me, as a matter of fact, yesterday when we were up on that set and it was rigorous, that I have not just been working with a great actor. It occurred to me I've been working with a soldier, a great soldier, and not an artist, an important artist. And you don't work with maybe more than one or two in a lifetime. To you, sir, an important artist. Salute you for your help.
I'm terribly proud of playing with you, dear boy. And I wish you were my son. That's all I think.
As you have seen, the magic of Hollywood is really the magic of people. People working together, people caring, people just doing the best they can. Rehearsal, because John's a stage director, and Dustin did a lot of stage work, and certainly Larry Olivier did a little. And together, the rehearsals are what we got out the grit, we got out what we didn't need. And rehearsals helped, and I always believe in rehearsals. I think it's very important.
Marker. Action! Sopo. 1 second.
But why are you following me?
I almost didn't even get you.
Qu'est-ce que vous arrive? Pourquoi vous respirez comme ça?
What did you say?
Why are you so...
I thought you went in the other building. I ran up the wrong stairs. I went up 4 flights, I discovered. But I'm not following you anyways. I was coming after you to read this book. You dropped it when we were... I think you were in the library. Isn't it yours? I thought it might be important.
Thank you. You're very kind. Good night.
Good night. If you're curious why I found your house, it's in your book.
I wasn't. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Night.
How?
Keep saying that, but you keep standing there.
I have a toothache.
Pardon me?
I have a toothache.
What means toothache?
Well, you know...
I see.
Do you know, how do you call an ache?
Yeah. Zahnschmerzen.
It hurts. You don't have an aspirin, do you?
If I give you some, will you leave?
Can I have a light?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have a cigarette?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think I'm going to ask you to light it and smoke it.
Nervous. You don't even inhale?
Well, no, I don't usually smoke. But you're right, I am nervous. I'm in training, so
What kind of training?
I'm a marathon distance runner. They have these races in the park.
I see. Ah, c'est pour ça que vous transpirez tellement.
I'm sorry, I don't speak French. What did you say?
Is that where you are respiring? Perspiring?
Perspiring.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How do you say that?
Transpirer.
No, the whole sentence.
C'est pour ça que vous transpirez.
Slower.
C'est pour ça que...
Wait a minute.
C'est
pour ça. C'est ça.
No, c'est ça. Yeah.
C'est ça.
Yeah.
Perspire?
You don't speak French, no?
No, I speak Hebrew. What do you do? Are you studying medicine? I noticed that.
Nothing. Why you want to see me?
Because you're so short.
Thanks.
and pudgy. And I don't know why I want to see you. You want to know the truth? I've been able to go up to someone I don't know. So I want to see you because I want to change a pattern. And I want to be able to tell someone I've never seen before that I'd like to get to know you and learn how to tie tourniquets and talk about philosophy and like in the movies say, Elsa, I could make you so happy.
It's nice. If I do see you again, will you promise me to shut up? Good. I will see you again. But it won't come to anything.
Just talk.
Bonsoir.
Oh, okay.
Bonne nuit.
Okay, I'll talk to you.
Hallo? Ja, bitte, ist Erhard hier? Elsa. Erhard, grüß dich. Ja. He is terribly sweet. Terribly naiv. Nein, entschuldige du vorhin, ich war so depressiv. Ich bin einfach müde. Ja, I'm quite sure he finds me attractive. How long do I have? I would say it possibly, yes. With any luck at all, in a week he'll love me. Ja. Nacht.
There is a girl who does her job because, for whatever the reasons are, but the feelings are not cut off, and she really likes and even loves this character, which is played by Dustin Hoffman. So she is between feelings and what she was supposed to do.
Marker.
Ash.
Tus trailers, visita mi canal.
Make a move, I'll blow your brains out. I saw you came in the door. How'd you get in?
A lousy lock.
It's a new lock.
Not good enough.
Surprised you, huh?
Yeah.
Kick you on your ass.
You're pretty good with a gun, stranger. What can you do by yourself?
Times have changed, my friend.
Watch it now. Just watch it. You know you never could lay a glove on me.
Yeah, but I've been
Come on, shoot it out. Shoot it out. Shoot it out. Come on. That's it. When'd you move into this armpit of a place, huh?
Why don't you tell me your real feelings? Don't hold back.
Wait. There's two guys in California.
Yeah.
They got a great invention.
What?
They take a long stick, they put some hay on it, and it's called a broom.
Oh, yes?
Now, a broom would do wonders in here.
Yes, have you noticed it's cleaned the curtains already?
Ah! How are you?
Thanks for telling me you're coming.
You look great.
Yeah? So do you.
Well, I got your latest epistle from the Big Apple.
I thought you'd respond to it.
What's all that about the mugging?
Happened.
What do you mean it happened?
The girl I wrote you about, we were walking in the park. 3 guys came out, jumped us, didn't take any money, beat the shit out of us.
Why?
I don't know. It was very mean.
I don't know why you want to live here. You could come to Georgetown. You could go to school down there.
Get mugged there, too.
Yeah, but I could get you in. You got the grades, and I can pay for
Thank
it.
you very much. I'm not interested. See my work?
What is this? More bullshit on a thesis?
Well, you never cease to have such elegant phrases for the things I take seriously.
Babe, I want you to listen to me.
Listen.
You never even knew Dad. I mean, if he were here right now, standing in this room, what do you think he'd say? He'd tell you what a fuck-up he was. You really believe he'd want you to be doing this? Throwing your life away on this?
Wait a minute. First of all, I'm not throwing my life away. Second of all, I don't think he'd say that.
You really believe anything you're going to write is going to change what happened?
So what's my alternative? Are you saying I should be a successful businessman like you?
Why not?
Is that your message?
I don't look too bad, do I?
You look like you're having a great life.
My life is thrown away already. You know that.
Something's got to you. What is it?
You have. All the brains in the world, and what are you doing about it? You're sitting here trying to clear a guy who was a drunk and a suicide.
No, it wasn't a drunk until after the McCarthy hearing.
He was always drunk, and you know it.
6 or 7 of his closest friends have told me that he never started drinking until after.
Where were they during the trial?
They were very scared.
You're going to be scared, too.
Why is it that you can't listen to what I'm doing? Why? Every time you take that point of view, it's like you don't want to hear it.
Because you're impossible. I suppose you still got the goddamn gun.
Yep, certainly do. You want to see it? I can look at it.
Put it away. What about this girl you wrote me about, your newest heartthrob, Helga? How does she figure in your sadistic plans?
You really are a prick. You're trying to bait me. You know her name isn't Helga.
Ursula.
No.
Ingrid.
Ingrid is close, but it's not Ingrid. I know it's a very tough problem for you because you didn't learn your toiletry until you were about 14 years old, and you would love to get a rise out of it. You want me to say her name? It's Elsa.
Okay. Elsa. Her I got. Who the hell are you?
Do you remember when we were kids and you'd find a coin and you'd give it to me and I said, I want it. You said, heads I win, tails you lose. And no matter what happened, I lost. And I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't enjoy it anymore.
I think that Doc feels that Babe probably has a pure political sense, a pure social consciousness as his father had. And I think he sees that in his brother and respects that in his brother.
Hey, Parker.
So you can't play with
What do you want to see?
No, I don't know.
But you've never seen him play.
Yeah, but I think it's not quite my life. But you know, I was a dancer.
Is that how you got that?
No, it was an accident.
What happened?
Car, with a car.
Did you black out?
Yeah, twice.
Were you frightened?
Yeah.
Did you see the? I just want to see. Did you see the car coming?
No.
And you
It was 10 cars, you know, and I was going the next before. And after another car is coming, and so it was really dangerous.
And you weren't frightened?
Frightened, yeah. After I couldn't take a car 1 year ago. After 1 year.
What do you think is the most frightening thing? In other words, what do you think fear is? Because I have my own theory. What do you think fear is?
Yeah.
What do you think, as a human being, we are most frightened of?
For me? For
yes, what frightens you the most?
Sick. To be sick.
To be sick.
Somebody you love, dead, and
Can I tell you?
Awful the question.
No, I think it's terrific.
Yeah, it's
you know why?
No.
Because I don't think the human being. You're looking at me warily.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm serious.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't think a human being is most frightened.
Human being? What means?
A human being.
Human
a person.
being. Yeah, sure.
I don't think people are basically mostly frightened of death.
Yeah.
I think what they're mostly frightened of is dying.
It's not dying.
I think it's the
to
humiliation.
be sick before, but not dying.
But why are people afraid of being sick? Because I think one fears humiliation more than anything else.
I'm not sure.
Should I tell you a story?
Yeah, tell me a story.
Okay. I was in the army. Okay?
Yeah.
And we were supposed to attack a village the next morning. And the night before, a guy I knew, an 18-year-old guy, had to go to the bathroom. We have like a latrine. And he went to the side. It was the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
And you take down your pants and you just go to the bathroom. And he dropped his rifle.
Rifle? What means rifle?
His rifle.
Ah, le rifle. Oui.
And he went to take a shit. And one of the enemy started coming at him. And he knew that the enemy didn't want to shoot him, but wanted to bayonet him. The bayonet, because if the enemy shoots, someone hears it and kills him. So there was the moment, I was told this story, he had the moment to shoot the guy back, or else to pick his pants up. And he picked his pants up.
Yeah, sure, and he's
and
dead.
the guy killed him.
Oh, good.
Before he could make it's true story.
No,
yes, it is.
Possible.
Yeah, no, it's not. Before he could make the conscious choice, he was caught with his pants down and got killed.
Oh, it's awful. It's true?
Yes.
Comment on dit des automatismes? C'est des automatismes.
What do you mean?
It's like reflex, you know? This one is the first reflex to make the pan.
No, I think that what happens is that you don't have a chance.
Yeah.
In other words, you see that window over there?
Oh no, it's two. That's a story.
What?
No, yeah, I saw it. Oh.
You hate this?
Too much today.
Sometimes we improvised and we taped it, and it was a little bit then between the text which was of course written and between what we said. So it was really prepared. And that's something, I don't know, probably they do that all the time, but in Europe they don't do that too much. And that was such a beautiful and comfortable thing to do that, because then once you start shooting, you take the same boat, you go the same direction, because everything was already talked about.
Parker.
Yeah.
He said, relax, just take it easy. He said, it's just a movie. He says, it's just a screen test. Let's have
But you have the line.
He said, let's have fun. So
Yeah.
I said, okay. So I shook hands with him, and his hand was just sweating.
His hand
was just dripping. So. Same with you, too.
It's the same then.
Did he like what I told you he would be like?
Don't know. Perhaps.
I must say, She's not as ugly as you told me she was.
Well, she's gotten a little better looking since you got here, which worries me.
You're Swiss?
Yeah. You don't like Swiss?
Oh, no, I do. What part of Switzerland?
Oh, a little place.
Where?
Lac de Constance. You know it?
Oh, yes, I know it very well. Isn't there there's a Mount Ramona very near there?
Yeah.
Do you know where that is?
Yeah, of course.
Guy works in my office, a terrific ski freak, and he's always talking about Mount Ramona. How far is that from Lake Constance?
Can't remember. It's not very far.
There's no ski freak in my office.
No.
There's no such thing as a Mount Ramona. Where are you from? You're not Swiss.
Ask Babe.
I said you're not Swiss. What are you?
Yes, I'm Swiss, of course.
You want to ask her?
I just wonder why you're playing this game.
Well, because she's not Swiss. Why is she lying to you?
I'm not lying, listen. I'm Swiss. But what's the matter, Babe?
I don't understand what's going on. Why do you say she's not Swiss?
Because she's not Swiss.
Why do you say that she's
Because there's no such thing as a Lake Ramona. There's no such thing as a Mount Ramona on Lake Constance. And why should she be lying about it?
Well, she just... She probably didn't understand.
Oh, I think
What
she
are you
understood.
playing?
No, I'm not playing anything. I think you're playing.
Well,
Why are
say
you
something.
playing? Why are you playing with him?
Anything else?
No, we've come to the place we want to come to. Now, I think I'd like to have an explanation.
Why wieso soll ich lügen? Why are you lying? I'm not lying. Babe, say something. He's quite...
Say something. You ask her.
I don't have to ask. I don't care if she's Swiss or not. I don't know. What's the big deal?
The big deal is that often young ladies come to this country and attach themselves to Americans and do it very well for themselves.
The big deal also is that every time I've ever shown an interest in anybody, you found a way to knock it down.
I will this time.
I think you could have found another way to do it. You could have talked to me privately. I don't think you have to humiliate her.
Thank you.
You two ought to get along very well now.
Oh, Palmer. I'm sorry, but my language is not that good. I have not understand.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand only too
I'm
well.
too. Yeah, thank you.
I'm beginning to think you like each other a lot, because you
Yeah,
wouldn't
sure.
be fighting so
Yeah.
much.
Perhaps.
I'm more disturbed that she...
Is he drunk?
No, I told you he's been going through a tough time. I think he's doing a little projecting.
When I see this dazzling, rather cosmopolitan European woman falling all over him, I'm beginning to suspect something. And what I suspect is revealed in the restaurant scene when he exposes her. It's not a pleasant thing that he has to do, but he has to do it. And then things start to... Then he realizes his brother is somehow involved in something that he's involved in. And now he's really worried.
Is it safe?
Trailers. Visita mi canal.
You talking to me?
Is it safe?
It's what safe?
Is it safe?
With these three words, one of Hollywood's most indelible incarnations of pure evil secured its place in motion picture history. Following his celebrated entry into the world of independent production with Chinatown, former Paramount studio chief Robert Evans set his sights on Marathon Man, a best-selling novel from acclaimed author and Academy Award-winning screenwriter William Goldman.
Sidney Beckerman, who was a producer in town, gave it to my associate, a fellow named Gary Chasen, to read. And he walked into my office and said, "Evans, you got to make this film." I got Sidney in the office and said, "Let's make it."
Sidney Beckerman and Robert Evans bought it and wanted me to do the screenplay, which I did. And Evans at that time was a famous studio head because he had been a model. It was like you gave a guy you saw on the street the head of Paramount Studios. It was nuts. It was ridiculous to give someone with that background, and he was wonderful at it. And he had a huge success.
When I was making Jaws, I had a couple of days off, and one of the producers, David Brown, gave me the galleys of the novel. And he said, "I've just finished reading this. I'd like to see if you like it." So I started reading it about 10 o'clock at night, and I finished about 4 o'clock in the morning. And when I came down to breakfast the next day, he said, "What did you think?" I said, "Oh, it's terrific. It's a great page turner. It's going to make an awful good movie." And I said, "But, you know, the guy who really fascinated me dies in the middle of the book." And 2 years later, I was playing the part.
The producers were eager to work with John Schlesinger, the honored and distinguished director of such films as Darling, Sunday Bloody Sunday, Far from the Madding Crowd, and most significantly, the Oscar-winning Midnight Cowboy.
My memory is that John Schlesinger was the one who contacted me about it, and he told me he was doing this film called Marathon Man, and had I read the book, and I said I had not. So, you know, I was interested in working with John because it had been one of the best experiences of my life, working with one Midnight Cowboy.
One day, somebody told me John Schlesinger was looking for me for Marathon Man, and I was at that time on stage in Paris. I didn't believe it, of course. And the funny thing was that when they came over, everybody from Paramount, to the Plaza Hotel in Paris, I did not know which one of the 8 was John Schlesinger. And nobody would say, "I'm John Schlesinger," or "I'm Bob Evans," or "I'm..." So they just said hello and sit down, and I said, "To who should I talk now?" So after a while I was lighting up a cigarette and just said, "Oh, I loved Midnight Cowboy," and somebody said, "Thank you," and so I know it was John Schlesinger, so that was our first meeting.
I found him most curious to work with. When we rehearsed, he kept a tape recorder going all the time. And so we'd try a scene this way, we'd try it that way, and then he would take the tape recorder, come home and listen to it and come back and say, "You know, I really like this version. Let's see if we can develop this version." I mean, that's a curious way of working, but every director I've ever worked with has had a different way of working. It doesn't really matter what your work method is if it's where you're trying to go, what you're trying to achieve. And that's the way he did it.
He's a very sensitive guy, and he's very intelligent, and he's so alive, and he picks up everything.
He also is a director who really loved the process, I think, more than any other aspect of it. Yes, he liked getting a good take. Yes, he likes putting together the film. Yes, he likes the film working. But he loved the process, I think.
This was the only film I've ever made where the script was given to the person, and each person, from the director to Dustin Hoffman to Laurence Olivier to Roy Scheider to Bill Devane to Mort Keller, on our first choice, we got everybody.
You don't usually get casts of that quality for a genre flick. You just don't.
As I recall, there was another of you. I have an older brother. He's a rich, successful businessman. I think my father would have disowned him.
From the start, the producers had hoped for Dustin Hoffman to star in the film. Hoffman was by then an accomplished film actor, with 3 Academy Award nominations already under his belt for The Graduate, Midnight Cowboy, and Lenny.
They got Hoffman to do it, and that was a big deal, because that meant the movie would go forward.
I knew Dustin from an off-Broadway play called Sergeant Musgrave's Dance. It's written by John Arden, and we had been in rehearsal for about 2-3 weeks. We're getting close to previews, And the director suddenly decided that he didn't like Dustin's North Country accent, and he fired him.
As long as they fire you before 5 days, they don't have to pay you for the run of the play. So actors always say, I got to get past the 5th day, and I didn't.
Now, I found out years later that at that time he was rooming with Gene Hackman. And Gene Hackman told me that Dustin was really distraught. He was really upset about, he really wanted to play that part. And of course, he went on to a couple of other shows, and the way things worked out, he was seen in one of those shows by Mike Nichols, and that led to The Graduate, and so forth and so forth. So it had been a couple of years since I'd seen Dustin when I met him on Marathon Man, but we had old memories.
It was an ironic experience and a good experience suddenly to be working with a guy that I didn't have the opportunity to a few years before.
One day a journalist asked me, what is the difference between a European movie and an American movie? And I said to him, in America you have to be in a good movie, and in Europe you have to be good in a movie. And I think I said that because of Dustin, because I saw something which happened. He watched every little thing, every actor, everything. He wanted that everything was good. So he knows that if everybody is good, it helps him too.
One of the problems that he had in the movie, rightfully so, was I think he always felt nervous about his age.
I remember joking with Schlesinger, saying, well, how old is this guy? Because I'm a little too old to, I was too old to do The Graduate when I did it.
Hoffman was probably 40, or pushing 40, even though because he's so youthful and energetic, he comes way younger.
I was close to 40, and I thought, well, if you think I can get away with still being in college, you know, this will, you know, I would love to have one more shot at convincing the public that I, you know, that they would still buy me going to college.
Well, Dustin still looks very young. I mean, Dustin was really much too old for the part in age, but not in spirit and what he could convey. He's such a great actor. He could have played 10 years old, maybe. I don't know. Listen, he played a woman after that. What can I tell you?
There's another thing which was so beautiful of Dustin, really. We were shooting outside, and they started on me. Why that day on me? And nobody saw Dustin's face, only me, because he was in front of, just close to the camera. And when he said, why did you do that? Would you, or whatever the report, he had tears in his eyes. Nobody saw it, only me. What a gift.
Hoffman's preparation for any role he plays is often thorough to the point of obsession, and Marathon Man was no exception.
There was a story floating around that I told Olivier, because he wasn't working that day, that when we were in New York, and when we got back to Los Angeles, he said, how did your week go, dear boy? And I told him we did this scene where the character I was playing was supposed to be up for 3 days. He said, so what'd you do? I said, well, I stayed up for 3 days and 3 nights. And the famous line was, why don't you just try acting? And it became kind of legend. It's been quoted so many times, at least in the acting circles. And the truth is, I was the first one to quote that line, and I think it was a Time magazine interview. And of course, what they do many times in those interviews is that they leave out the reality and just put in what feels more provocative or a better story. And what accompanied him saying, why don't you just try acting? He said, you know, and he laughed because he said, you know, I'm one to talk. And then he was actually the first one who told me about risking his life every night, jumping, whatever it was, 20 feet in the last act of Hamlet. And the truth of it is, I didn't just stay up 3 days and 3 nights for the scene. It was a good excuse, because these were the days of wine and roses in Studio 54.
Roy Scheider, well known for his strong performances in such solid hits as The French Connection, Klute, and Jaws, came on board as Hoffman's mysterious businessman brother, getting the rare chance to play a character that's both hero and villain.
Doc is a fascinating guy because he chooses to work out his problems in a much different way than Dustin's character does. He was very touched and very moved by his father's death, but he he abandoned all his hopes for whatever he intended to do, and he became a spy, became a killer, became a very jaded personality.
What's this? More bullshit for your thesis? There's some interviews about Dad. I'd like you to read it.
Not interested.
Why not? I just want you to read it.
You're never going to face it, are you? The old man is dead. He was a drunk. He killed himself.
Yeah, Doc, but he didn't start to drink until after the hearings. It's right here in the
You've
interview.
got to be kidding.
No, look, I got it from his friends. Read
Where
it.
were those people when he needed them?
They were afraid like everybody else.
You think he wanted you to be throwing your life away on this shit?
But I don't think I'm throwing it away.
You are. Nothing you're going to write is going to change
Why
anything.
can't you give me the courtesy to read it?
It's over. Forget it.
Maybe for you.
Scheider took the part was because there's a scene from the book, about an 8 or a 10-page scene, which is his opening thing. In the movie it was there, and it was shot, in which he meets a legendary other spy, and the legendary other spy is murdered in a bathroom, and he goes nuts and destroys the two people who have done it, and it's a terrific scene for him in theory.
We had a preview of it in San Francisco, and this is 76.
And toward the end of the movie, a voice, it may have been around the dental scene, stood up and yelled sadistic shit.
Violence. I mean, violence in films then was really frowned on.
And they cut that Scheider scene because of that.
He had some scenes cut out, but it didn't matter.
I thought about him physically as being that kind of a guy who was quite secure in what he could do with his body and his hands. I had an interesting experience there because I came in the morning that we were going to do that fight, and I saw two big sort of burly guys punching each other all over the set, rolling over couches and bouncing around, and I thought, well, what's that? And John said, well, we want to get as the most exciting fight we can get. And I said, yeah, John, but I don't think these guys would fight like that. They're both martial arts. The Chinese guy with the thing and me with all those martial arts training. I said, this fight is really about what they don't do. So we had a disagreement about that, and I remember calling up a couple of the producers and asking them to please come down, and I pleaded my case, and I won my point. So the other actor, who was a martial arts expert, he and I choreographed that fight. We threw the other one out. I mean, I understood that John wanted something very dynamic for his picture, but I felt we could give him something different and really exciting, but something that no one had seen before.
The coveted role of Elsa, Hoffman's love interest, went to Swiss-born actress Marta Keller. Already a celebrated actress in France, Marathon Man was Keller's American screen debut.
I took your book and put it underneath mine. I didn't know how to talk to you. I was embarrassed, so I took your book.
Aren't you embarrassed now?
Yeah, I'm humiliated.
So why do you pursue people who sit at your library table?
I don't. It's just that you're pretty.
When Martha came and tested for the part, she did not speak one word of English, not hello, and she learned to play her part phonetically.
So when she came over to test, she said she just literally sat in the dressing room while they talked to her, not knowing, having a clue what they said. She had memorized the words in the test phonetically, and they're saying, how you doing, how are you? And I think she's just saying yes, no, and literally not knowing anything.
Dustin Hoffman first day, he said, she's nice, but she's shy. She does. I did like I was shy, because I said if I open my mouth, I'm...
But she didn't have to say much. Her looks are right, her hands are right, and she's a very trained, fine actress.
Once you have, unfortunately, an accent like everybody knows I have, and you get those kind of parts, which are sometimes a little bit the villain parts. Those characters are very interesting to play, like Lady Macbeth, but after a while, I stopped. I don't want it anymore. I don't want to be the bad girl. I'm not a bad girl. I'm blonde.
It makes me feel sad that we haven't worked together since, because we really enjoyed working together. It was not, I don't remember it being hard. It was very, we really liked each other.
Yeah, we had a good time. We were laughing a lot. Crying and laughing. It was all about that.
Had I not been a married man to my first wife, I think we really would have liked each other. And I mean, really.
Lord Laurence Olivier, one of the greatest actors of the 20th century, was cast in the role of the murderous Nazi war criminal Christian Zell. Olivier had been quite ill for several years, and as a result, he received very few offers to work in the profession that made him a legend.
Listen, I was an unemployed actor for too many years, hearing the name Laurence Olivier, living with Bob Duvall and Gene Hackman. I mean, and Olivier and Gielgud were gods to us.
Olivier was the actor of the century. He's the greatest stage actor probably in the history of the stage. And even though he didn't think much of his movie career, was pretty good in the movies too, as a great, great actor and a great director. And a prize-winning figure all around the world, but he was dying.
I knew he was ill. I didn't know how ill he was, and I don't think anyone did until we started shooting. I think he had like 5 different, he had cancer, he had a leg that was blown up with gout. He had so many things that were just, you know, invading him.
He was a soldier. I mean, I saw him with his problems with his legs sometimes and the veins and everything, and he just was standing there doing his things.
Larry was not only frail, he was uninsurable. The only job he had had was like 2 years earlier that a 3-day part in Sherlock Holmes. You couldn't get insurance on him. And I flew over to London and met with Lloyd's of London, and I begged them to give me 6 weeks with him. And they didn't want to do it. I said, this man's the greatest actor in English cinema and English stage, and give the man back his dignity. And I convinced them to give me 6 weeks on him. That's all they thought he would live. And we got the 6 weeks, and he shot for 11 weeks. But what happened, this is the amazing thing, the adrenaline and excitement he had within, the opportunity of working again, he didn't live 6 weeks, he lived 13 more years.
Is it safe? Yes, it's safe. It's very safe. It's so safe you wouldn't believe it.
Is it safe?
I remember saying to him at the very beginning, Lord Olivier, and I said, what am I going to call you? Do I call you Sir? Do I call you Lord? I don't want to call you Larry like some people do. And he says, no, it's all right. It's quite all right, dear. He called me dear boy. It's all quite all right, dear boy. And we somehow the word lordage came out. I don't know how. And he was comfortable with that.
He enjoyed the project, and he liked his character. And he liked that Dustin and I could be rather silly about him. And we called him everything from your lordship to your Lancashire ship to your Devonshire ship we called him every ship you could possibly call an actor. And he loved it. He loved it.
He and Dustin have 2 opposite styles of acting. And Dustin is an organic actor. And everything comes from inside, and he worries about it, how it plays, and he's a perfectionist in what he does. Larry, on the other hand, is a stage actor and just goes by the written word and doesn't like to change anything. And at times they had some conflict, but certainly mutual respect for each other.
So Olivier was doing this kind of big stuff, and I said something to Schlesinger, and we're all new to each other, and I said, John, it's a little big. And we all do it, you know, the actors that come from the stage, it's like unconsciously, I mean, that's our craft. It's part of our craft as stage actors. You have to play it for the first people in the first row, and they got to hear it in the last row in the top balcony. And that's somehow it wasn't bad, it was just big. And I remember I said to John Schlesinger, and we had worked on Midnight Cowboy, and John said, what do you want me to, you think I'm going to go up to Sir Laurence Olivier and tell him he's over the top? I am not going to do that. If you want to do it, you can do it. You know. And I said, you serious? He says, yes. And I went up to him. And I said, Lord, I said, you know, remember when we were just running the lines before we started the scene? You know, we just have line rehearsal. And he said, yes, dear boy. And I said, well, you had some really good takes, but why don't you just do one for the hell of it, where you did it just like when we were just running the lines. And he gave me this look. And he says, you think it was too big, don't you? And I said, well, who knows? I'm not, you know, I didn't say, but just, and he just looked at me like this, and he said, thank you.
John said to me one day, he said, you know, Roy, I am so so delighted to have Larry on this film. It's so wonderful. He's so, I mean, you look what he's doing. I mean, can you imagine all the years, all the performances this man is, and here he is in my movie, and it's just wonderful. I just adore it. I said, John, tell him. And he did.
Everybody did their best. Everyone was trying to do, live up to playing opposite him, and they all had scenes with him too.
He was a beautiful man. He was the original Heathcliff in Wuthering Heights. He was a gorgeous man.
As he told me during the film, he looked at me one time. I'd been bicycling around the lot, and I had my shirt off and my pants. It was a hot day, and I just came in to say hello to him, and he looked at, he saw my bare chest or something, and he said, I used to look like that. I had a body like that once. It was so sad.
Olivier and Hoffman developed a close working relationship, marked by one very particular exchange between them.
I used to tell him in those days I was thinking of doing Hamlet, and he would give me classes in history and Shakespeare in his dressing room during all the time that it takes to light. And he would tell me about Hamlet and other parts. And after the film was over, he wanted to give me a gift. And he said he was coming over. Was it all right? I said, sure. And there was a knock on the door, and his driver was there holding a cardboard. I'll never forget it. It's one of the great experiences in my life. He was holding a cardboard box, and it was filled with these books, and Lordage said, could I come in, dear boy? And I said, yes. And he comes in, and he gives me this gift, and he says, now, they're not very fancy. He says, but this is my favorite edition of Shakespeare. It's the Temple edition. It's very ordinary covers, but it's my favorite. And I have it still. I wouldn't mind being buried with it, but he had pages with little pieces of paper all throughout all his plays, and he had penciled in the sides comments that he had on certain speeches. I mean, he had taken, I don't know how many hours to do this. I was overwhelmed. I remember thinking, if for some reason he couldn't have been an actor, he could have been quite happy just working in a university, sitting under a tree with a few students and just talk. He loved everything about what he was doing.
But the key to Marathon Man is in the chemistry between its stars. Perhaps one of the most gut-wrenching and most memorable scenes in Marathon Man comes when Dustin Hoffman is captured and tortured by Olivier's dangerous war criminal. Olivier's powerful performance resulted in a 1976 Academy Award nomination as Best Supporting Actor.
For about 3 or 4 weeks, Larry stayed in my guest house, and it's a lot of trees and around the cottage there. And he was doing, at the time, he was setting up to do the scene the dental scene with Dustin. And I drove him to work. I used to drive him every morning. I used to be thrilled to drive him. I'd love to be a chauffeur just so I could talk with him and everything. And he said, Robert, I've watched your gardener this morning. He was cutting the roses, and he was cutting them with such beautiful feeling. He loved what he was doing. He just loved your roses and how he cut them together, and I was fascinated watching him. But I learned how to play the part now.
No pun intended, I felt like I was in good hands, because Olivier had told me about watching a gardener cut roses outside, and he came in very excited saying, I know how to play the scene. He was like talking actor to actor, and he says, the gardener was cutting it with such delicacy, with such love. He says, and that's the way I'm going to check out your teeth. And he drove the scene, so it was not that hard a scene to do. I remember one moment during the dental scene where we kept doing this take over and over again because he was supposed to hurt me, and I scream, and we did a couple of those takes, and suddenly it occurs to me that I'm working with Olivier. My brain says, so what if I really make, because he was very frightened of hurting me, so after each take he said, did I hurt you, dear boy, did I hurt you? I said, no, I'm fine. He's so careful, he was so afraid he's going to nick me. So I said to myself, the next take, I'm going to make him think like he really got me.
Is it safe?
Look, I tell you, I can't do it. And I said, cut, and I was going. And he was sure he got me. And I said, gotcha.
I was out of the country when the movie opened, and I went to see it at a big Times Square movie theater, which we used to have. And it was a Saturday night, it was full, and I'd never seen the movie, and I thought, gee, this is not so terrible for what it was, and blah, 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 we're getting through it. And suddenly, your greatest horror, if you're the writer, the audience left the movie theater. And I looked up, and the aisles were flooded. It was so horrible. Because it wasn't, you know, they shouldn't have left. There was some terrific stuff coming up, I hoped. And then I realized the dental scene had gotten famous even that early, and the dental scene was coming up, and they didn't want to see it. So the hundreds and hundreds of people left. The dental scene happened, and then hundreds and hundreds of people came back.
That was recut, recut, and almost taken out of the picture because of the response at first.
It isn't safe. Move. They're all dead. Move.
You would be foolish to do anything hasty.
Move.
Refinements to the screenplay were the result of collaborations between screenwriter William Goldman, director John Schlesinger, the actors, and an uncredited last-minute rewrite by Chinatown screenwriter Robert Towne.
In the book, he kills the Olivier character, and I told John I can't do it.
The Hoffman character has become just as mean and vicious and sadistic as the Olivier character, and he shoots him in cold blood and he torments him. And I thought that was swell.
I'm Jewish, and the character is Jewish, and killing a Nazi, albeit as heinous as he was, in cold blood, something, as I think it happened in the book, something prevented me from doing it.
They brought in town to give the big operatic ending, which I never liked particularly because I hated, oh, eat the diamonds. I thought that was Hollywood horseshit. But it worked for audiences, and I'm not objecting to it.
Bob was a good friend of mine, and we didn't have the right ending for it. And Bob didn't charge anything for it. He came in as a friend.
I thought it was a stronger statement to make, not to kill him in cold blood, and that's why the whole thing was then devised of, which I think is, my opinion is that it's more interesting, is that he impales himself.
Filmed in locations ranging from New York to Paris to the sound stages of Paramount Pictures in Hollywood, Marathon Man opened in October of 1976 and was an instant smash hit for the studio, breaking the New York opening record of The Godfather. Winning a marathon, much like succeeding at the box office, is a matter of skill, preparation, and split-second timing. The story behind Marathon Man still stands as a study in all three.
Everyone on the film felt they were making something that could really work.
Well, for me, it was terrific. I mean, it was like my fourth movie of any, major picture, and to be working with people of that caliber, it was very exciting for me.
The finished product is never quite as what you wanted it to be. But you remember, when you think back on a thing that you did, whatever it was, you remember, oh man, that was wonderful working with so-and-so, or we really were cooking, whatever. You remember those things about it more than you remember, because you're not in the audience, more than you remember the thing itself.
It was wonderful. It was, for me, sometimes I get very emotional. It was a gift doing this movie for me.
Marathon Man is a very good example of a collaborative effort from everyone. I think it's one of Paramount's finest moments, and it's a film certainly one of mine.